Here we are. Looks like we are live for a Sunday night for TP Interactive. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, lads. Yeah, all good. Good to go. Just started raining here, but had a great day. Well, busy day, but it's been okay. What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I've been to my grandson's birthday party earlier today, and then we're kind of setting for recording a live gig next week. So I've been doing a lot of testing today on equipment. So
Nice one. That's good. Well, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. We've been on to cliff tops, same as usual, 3 or 4 times this week.
Yeah.
I even went up last night, random, just off the cuff. I weren't going to go nowhere, and then I got a phone call. Do you fancy going up for an hour? So I went up, literally just for an hour and a half, and interesting. It must have been fate, because there was somebody up there, not come to see me, but and ended up talking to him, and he says, "Oh, I know who you are," and he'd got a Titan to share with us. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. Yeah, but
brilliant.
Fascinating, and I really thank him. He let me record him. He didn't let me film him. I just recorded him. So we'll put that together for a short because it ties in with what's been seen. What we got here?
I see there's a lot of people in the stream tonight, and thanks everybody for coming on as usual. Great support.
Yeah, brilliant. And I don't know whether Alison's she's got a few computer problems. I think Google Chrome, but no doubt she might make it here. But if she doesn't, look, let's just have a look. We'll kick it off with Doc Sausage, Dan Brown, Denise Fox, Elaine Lynn is in. I think I know Ian's in. I saw it earlier. Tetrastatic, Peter Leach, Steve Tees, Disabled Welshman, King Kim, Vladimir. Hi, mate, and Enigma. Let's have a look. Stargaze Returnal. Martin Abbas, good to see you, Martin, and I hope you enjoyed that short that we put out. There's another one to come with you in it, so that'll be good. Dragonborn, Alison's here, so that's good. Great stuff, Alison. Thanks for helping us tonight. Diane Farrell, Scott Lawrence, and what we got? Just as I stop, like somebody else starts. But you know what it is tonight, guys. Just hit us with some questions, like Rivington Pike Lee's just said, in caps. At least get first part of your question in caps if you find it awkward. If you're like me, you like to do a spell check because I'm useless at spelling. Steve Davis, and so that's where we're at.
Yeah, right. I'll just like to kick off this little section with saying thank you, and a million thank yous for all the subscribers. We, as you know, probably regular viewers will know, we've reached over the 12,000 mark on the subscriber counts, and we're actually going on for the up to the 12 and a half. So it's really took off.
Well, it's great, and that's no thanks, or no less thanks to these guys for supporting us, and that's brilliant. I'm just looking again: Richard, Tom Waters, Mag Sue, Cider Bob. Yeah, that's all good. Jackson Hills. So it's good to see you, Jack, Lisa, and we'll jump to last night if you want. All right,
first thing, probably some of you may have picked up in tonight's description or remembered what we said on the last stream, that there will be a prize giveaway. So a prize of your choice, and tell us what the choice is, Paul.
Well, it's not £100,000, unfortunately. No, it's a book. Now, there's some truth-proof ones on order. I should get them Monday or Tuesday. So if you won and you wanted that, you might have to wait. Because, you know, when somebody says Monday or Tuesday, it could be Thursday when they arrive, but they're ordered and due to be delivered. So Truth Proof 1, 2, 3 or 4 or Night People or the Wolflands DVD, whatever you decide. And what they got to do, Les, what's the score of this?
All they've got to do is put something in the chat, and obviously the machine, the computer will pick from anyone in the chat to win that prize. Now, the thing is, obviously, if you're watching a stream and you don't put anything in the chat, you ain't got a chance of winning.
Yeah. Fair crack. Yeah. Well, it's there, isn't it? It's there for you to do if you want. And John Paul Body's in. Let's have a look. And we've just about covered people. And we haven't, because there's Richard Mason, Fred Flintstone. There's 150 people here. And thank you, guys. So let's just jump to tonight, Les, yeah? To last night.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
And let's have some questions as well, please. Well, I got a phone call off Pete last minute.
Pete
comes onto Cliff Tops with me and Ian and Mick and Bob when he's well enough, because Bob's having a few problems with his hip at the moment. And he said, do you fancy going up for an hour and a half? And me being me, I just thought, yeah, because it'll stop me having a beer. I've got to be honest, guys. And I didn't have one anyway all night, but that's what I thought. So we went up just for an hour and a half. Parks in the car park. There's a guy with a little dachshund dog. We like dogs, white light dogs. So we get it a little stroke, and he's talking to us and asked us if we were stopping night, which we said we weren't. We're only here for randomly just for an hour. And he says, "Oh, I know you are." He says, "I've been following your channel now." I says, "Okay." And it turns out this guy's from Bradford, and he obviously travelled through. He weren't stopping night. And I said, "Have you got all interesting to tell us?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "That's why I've been following it." He says, "I've seen something up here myself."
Really?
Yeah, and I just wrote it down, although I did record him, but not till later. Didn't know he'd hang about. 2022. So that's when he saw what he saw, which is relevant. So let's just snap back to the last few weeks when we saw the disc light up with the torch beam. Jeremy saw the disc in the field, just a flat white disc, no curvature to it, just kind of just flat, as though he cut a piece of round paper out and stuck it there. And so this kind of maybe ties in with what we were talking about. He says it was 2022. I visited Bempton with a friend. I think he said about same time of year, and they're stood at one of the platforms closer to the RSPB. Obviously, you're still away from RSPB, but going down, and then there's the first one. He said, "We're just minding his own business. It's dark. Not looking for UFOs, by the way. They've come up for a day with bird spotting and things and just stayed till it got dark." So then as we're looking over to the next platform further down, so you're looking at least 500 yards, I would think, Les.
Yeah.
He said there's a flash of light in the sky, below the cloud. He says, and then suddenly, after the flash of light, there's a ball of light.
Yeah.
Are you all right? That he thought were about 25 foot in air, just a ball of white light that they saw for a second or two, no more, switched off. And what were interesting, he says, because in the light they could see a man stood on stand. Now we're not going to do Terminator and say somebody appeared from ball of light. That he didn't. He's not saying anything like that. Prior to the flash of light, that man could have been stood there. You know, he could have been doing exactly what everybody else does. So they're amazed by what they've seen, and they just stand there looking. And they stayed there for quite a while. And the man walked out of the darkness and walked past them and up the cliffs. They didn't stop to ask him. He didn't look strange. He weren't dressed different. That's just the story. It's nothing earth-shattering, but it's interesting. It kind of ties in, and it just shows you that there's grains of this strangeness coming out from all parties. I got another one which we'll touch on in a moment, unless any questions have come in, Les. Oh, and let me just say this. Sorry, Les. I said that and then I cut you down. Sorry. We only stayed for an hour and a half. Yeah. As we're walking back, this guy's hovered around in car park with his little dog, and he's walking down and he meets us. And, you know, he says, "I thought you were going home." Like, you know, he says, "Yeah, I'm driving back." He says, "I'm off back to Bradford." But he just started retelling stories. So I just said, "Do you mind if I record you?" So I got the little DJI out. No facial recording. Not, you know, I didn't record his face. I just sort of put a torch on and he's pointing in distance where he was and where he was. It just makes what I'm saying just adds a little bit more meat to bone, because I can relay these stories. Somebody put in comments, you know, on films that we put out. I'm finding these interesting, but there's no proof of anything that is saying. And he's right. He or she is right. But unfortunately, you're dealing with unexplained phenomena. And I think that 100% across the board, there's not a lot of proof of what people say. It's anecdotal. This thing, when it strikes, don't leave any proof.
Well, that's it. And I think whoever made the comments, if they actually look back at some of the other videos that you've done, or the live streams we've done on Sunday especially, they'll hear you talk that when you do take equipment out, either you're too late getting it out because it's gone, flashed and gone, or the batteries are gone flat, and there's all sorts of anomalous stuff happening to equipment.
Absolutely. That ties in with a story that we'll talk about in a bit. But, you know, but having said that, we have got proof of lights under sea because we've filmed them. We've got proof of unusual lights over at sea. Now, that's not a dig at this person, because I value comments like that, because you know, it's a fairly reasonable thing to say, I think, because bulk at time when you're looking at this stuff. There's very little proof there for anybody. But yeah, thanks for that comment.
Yeah, well, this is it. All comments welcome, really, because as you say, are always saying in the streams, we don't know what all this stuff means. We don't know what it means for humanity, and you know, getting to the bottom of it is another issue, isn't it?
It's far-reaching. I'll tell you what, as well as due to the GPS anomalies that Ian's had on his dash cam and on his phone tracker, and what Jeremy's had, I reached out to a friend of mine who's a man of science, which is what Paul isn't. These are the brains you want looking at this information. He sent me a right tangled web of stuff I'm going to have to read through, and I'm going to forward it. Excuse me. I'm going to forward it to Ian. Well, you know, I'll omit this man's name and everything because I don't want to pass his details on, and I'll forward it to Jeremy and let them read through it as well, because he's talking about, you know, the substructure, the rock formations, and what kind of rock it is, or limestone at Flamborough, and how it goes towards granite at Filey, and all sorts of things. This man has sent me a great ream of information why we could be getting these anomalies. He's not saying that there isn't anything mysterious, but he's correct. We've got to iron out all those possibilities first before we settle on something truly mysterious has taken place. So it'll probably be morning now, Ian, when I forward you that, but I will forward it on you, Jeremy, because I know Ian's in. So go on then, Leslie, any questions?
So, well, just before we go to some questions, in the description for the show, we have a little piece talking about your stratification tool, Paul. So for those who've joined the stream or new to the channel, can you just tell people what that reporting system's all about?
Yeah, and somebody else got onto me actually earlier in the week who were trying to fill it in and saying how difficult it were on a phone. So perhaps we need to stress at this present time, you're going to have to use a laptop or a computer or a PC if you want to fill it in. But we would value your input. It's professionally done. It's done by myself and Martin Abbas, Dr. Martin Abbas. There's a lot of questions in it that are relating to even what you've eaten and what and how you felt mentally and emotionally. You don't have to answer them. You can omit whatever you want. You won't be judged if you choose to omit any of the questions. But we want to know type of sighting you've had, nature of sighting, category of sighting, and hopefully, when there's enough information coming in, we can look if there's any patterns forming for various types of phenomena and various types of emotional states, various types of foods that were eaten. So I think it's a great tool. So it's the stratification tool. It's a long word, isn't it? But it's there on the truthproof.uk website, and I think you probably put it in description tonight, have you, Les?
It should be there. Yeah.
If you haven't, it don't matter. Yeah. But and perhaps we need Martin on again at some point, and he can break it down as well, and that would be good. So
it was announced a few weeks back. Now, is there any update to the amount of people that have successfully filled this in?
There's lots of people successfully submitted the forms. It's going to a secure website. It's going to your email addresses and all your personal information are safe. I know it's an easy thing to say, a bit of a sweeping statement, but they're not coming to me, first off. They'll be going to Martin to scrutinise. And if after you've sent this information, you've got a report or an experience that you think you'd like to share, and it can be anonymous, that will then be forwarded to me. But myself and Martin will be looking at all the documentation. But we need Martin on again, and we'll go through this again. We'll spend 10 minutes on it again, Les. So please take advantage of it and fill it in and send it us.
I've just checked. It is in tonight's description.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to tackle that, by all means, have a go.
Yeah.
Right then, I've got some questions if you're ready.
Oh, go on then.
Which is always exciting, Paul, to get the questions.
It's really exciting.
Right then, let's have a look from Mark Anderson. I'll put it on the screen. Mark Anderson. Hi, Paul and Les. I've noticed there are a few bogs and moss near a few paranormal hotspots in Scotland. Are there any locations like that in Yorkshire?
Absolutely, Mark. Yeah, I wonder what significance of that is, but it's worth noting. You know, if you get into Forest Mark of North Yorkshire, you step off them logging roads, even on hot days, and Les knows this, Les has been in them. It's damp, it's full of moss, there's ruts full of water. If anybody looked at one of the shorts we put up about 4 weeks ago from myself and Chris Wright and saw dogs jumping about in water on a red hot day, you know, it's, yeah. So I don't know. Once again, makeup at land could, and Chris Wright points that out as well, like that he thinks it's something to do with the actual land itself in some instances, why these things are happening. So yeah, bogs and marshes and near paranormal hotspots. I ain't got an answer for it, Mark, but yeah, we have kind of noted that, and thanks for highlighting it.
Okay. Mark, Darren Lewis, Paul, have you ever visited Winter Hill / Rivington?
No, I'd like to. It's somewhere I ought to go. I know that the Winter Hill crew and Lee, who's in chat, they've been through tours, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and I haven't done. But yeah, I'd like to. I want to get back up to Rosslyn as well, to be honest with you. And obviously we've got this Ben McDewey to do, so that's another one.
And your trip to America.
Well, if it gets off ground, yeah, I'd like to do it, and you know, I won't rule out. I've got to move out of my little bubble, haven't I? Let's face it.
Yeah, well, once you finish your trip to America, we could probably do a month tour in Britain, Paul, for all the hotspots.
Bridlington, yeah. Hey, there's plenty of hotspots in Britain, isn't there? But
yeah,
maybe we ought to start there first. I know that Carl Crusher, who came on Thursday, said he'd like to come through. It's interesting.
Brilliant, yeah. South Coast Rich, Paul and Les, what do you think happens to you, if anything, after you die? I'll let you start with that one.
Do you mean me personally, Rich? No, I'm only joking, mate. Who can say? South Coast Rich or Rich, I honestly believe, and maybe I'm just being wishful thinking here because I'm a bit closer to it than somebody in the 20s. Let's hope. You know, but we're not going to wish his lives away. But I honestly believe there's something after this. I really do. Unless we're all being tricked, and there's a possibility when people claim to see apparitions of deceased loved ones, and not sometimes not loved ones, but deceased people. And in some instances, those apparitions, those sightings appear to have some kind of intelligence attached to them. It's almost like they're aware of you and you're aware of them. So I hope so. I hope there's something after this. I know that when people have near-death experiences, and I found this fascinating, because you'll get the skeptic going, well, they've said there's just nothing. There's nothing. But to say there's nothing must mean there's something, else you wouldn't be aware that there was nothing. Does that make sense? You know, a riddle within a riddle there, but that. What I'm meaning is, what if after you pass away, there is blackness? What if there is this moment, space of dead, space of blackness, but you're aware you're in the blackness until something else happens? All what ifs, aren't there? It sound a bit like History Channel. What if, and could it be? But I don't know.
Yeah, and what you said at the end, near-death experiences, I think that gives you some key as to what may be at the end of our lives, but not necessarily. You know, it could be a trickster thing, it could be a psychological clouding or whatever goes on in your mind, and you think you're there, and you think you're there, and you think you're out there. Who knows?
Yeah, or it could be, yeah, and you could be right, Les. Or it could be just an incredible mix of chemicals that are turning and twisting within your body at the passing. It's a bit of a morbid thing to think about, but you know, you just don't know, do you? Because you get people who are terminally ill, and when they're on certain medications, they claim all sorts of things. So you don't know how much truth to attach. Once again, this is a Martin Abbas field. This is where Martin would be invaluable tonight.
Yeah, because and what I think what sort of like inches me way to saying yes, there is something after this. Going back to the near-death thing, I've talked to a witness, first-hand account, who said he saw his own body in the hospital, and when he came back into his body, he explained to the doctors and nurses what was on this shelf, what nobody could see from ground, from where they were stood. So this shelf high up, nobody could see what was on it, but he told them exactly what was on that shelf to really explain what just happened to what he thought had happened to his soul or consciousness.
And that's a brilliant example then, Les, isn't it? It really is, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's a great story. I mean, for anybody in chat who's, and for Rich who's asked that question, Les has just got a great example of something otherworldly taking place. For me, if that guy's on the level and telling the truth, and he's somehow left his body and he can see what's in a box on a shelf where nobody can see, then there is something after this, and maybe we don't need the ties of this flesh, blood, and bone sack that we're all sort of in.
Yeah, right. And then I just
Rod, Lisa. Sorry, go on.
I just bring this one up for a little bit of levity, really. And Lisa's saying, "Wow, I've seen plenty of flashing lights and black pole illuminations near me. I've got tons of footage."
Tons of footage. Yeah, you're spot on. And on November 5th, Lisa, if you get to most places in UK, you'll be able to get some footage of flashing lights as well. So yeah. that's good.
Right. Peter Leach is saying, I was in Flamborough last week and people camping in and around the Danes. Was there any reports from campers, wild campers? I did do a post midnight stroll to a Danes entrance and back to Flamborough, but it was uneventful.
Uneventful. No, and I've been a few times this week, and I tell you what I noted. Let's have a look. Wild campers, reports from wild camp. So you've seen the wild campers, haven't you? You've seen these tents where I've seen them. I'm not going to say where they are because there might be people who've got nowhere to live, Les. So do you know what I mean? And I know that Peter, who lived in Dyke for 13 years, he didn't deserve to happen to him what happened. As in somebody burnt his tent out. That were terrible. So, but I did note some tents last week, and I'd not seen them before. So, but nobody's reported anything. I've got a report from Danes Dyke, which came in tonight, about an hour before stream. And I'll run with this unless we can do it next week if we've got plenty of questions.
I don't think I've got too many yet. You can run with it, Paul.
Well, until I speak to that lady, I'll not be able to fill in a great lot of detail. But just before lockdown, there's a lady walking her dog in Danes Dyke, and from a description from email I got tonight, she's on. As you go to the bottom where the beach is, you've got two options. Well, obviously you can go onto the beach and go right and left, or you can go right and left up steps either side. She went, by the sounds of it, she's on the left-hand side, and she's walking along the cliff tops to go down the steps towards the beach. And she said that it was just before lockdown, and she's got her dog who's quite well behaved. She said, and as she's walking, she sees what she can only be described as a black panther laid in the grass. She said it looked young. She said it was big, easily as big as a black Labrador. She said it saw them, it stuck its head up. She grabbed a dog, presumably put it on a lead. But it's watching her. She said it, and she didn't say it had black eyes. She said that's how close she was. She said it had big brown eyes. She says, and it looked beautiful. She says it were only young. She said, not. I don't know how, when she says young, I don't think she means a cub, but she means something in prime of its life. She says, and I got down the steps as quickly as I could. I got the dog onto the beach, and I rushed onto the beach. And I might get more information off her because I only got the email probably an hour ago. And interesting. And I thank you for that, and I will be in touch with you probably after this stream with a few questions and what have you.
Okay, Steve Davis, is it possible to judge if incidences of heart strangeness are increasing, say, past 2 or 3 years compared to, say, previous 10 or 12 years?
I suppose, Steve, we can, if I'm talking about me being in this little bubble, although there's a lot of reports coming from out of the area as well. But I would say that things have been a little bit more active in the last few years. If you consider 2019, well, if you consider stuff that were happening 17, 18, 19, then it died off a little bit and then it's picked up again. But 2009, I don't think that in all of the years, because I've always had this interest, even when I was working, but I just weren't vocal. So I were always watching, and I were always sort of looking at things. I don't think I've ever seen as much activity as what I saw. 1998 were very active. 2009 was very active. I think the peak of the stuff between 17 and 24 would have been about 2019. I can't help you any more than that, Steve, because it depends where you're looking, doesn't it? I mean, we were talking about hotspots around the UK and around the world, and I'll say to people, I think, you're not guaranteed to see anything wherever you go, but the probabilities of seeing something on the East Yorkshire coast and North Yorkshire coast are a lot stronger than other parts of the United Kingdom. But there may be other parts that are absolutely buzzing with activity, and I don't mean every night, but they haven't got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people investing 3, 4, 5 days a week in that location. That could be the reason. So there may be other places, or I wouldn't say there may be. I think that's a bit of a weak thing to say. A lot of people just want to covet their location and say, "Oh, mine's the best place in the world where we look." It's not necessarily meant to be. There could be other places, but we're just not spending as much time, or they're not as accessible. There's a thing, because I always cite Speeton as being more active than anywhere, and my reasoning for that is I get a lot of reports from that location, and it doesn't get a lot of footfall. So when you consider the people that we filmed in Wolflands, who'd got reports coming out of those forests in North Yorkshire, and the people that actually sleep in those forests are few and far between, it makes you wonder how active that is if you were actually in that area on a regular basis. I mean, we have a couple more reports from North Yorkshire that I won't talk about tonight because I don't have enough detail. I've got the detail, but I want to speak to the witness. And I also think it's better if you can.
I've suddenly got a lot of questions now, Paul. Right. Jackson Hilsey is asking, Paul, did you manage to watch the interview I sent you with Ross Coulter?
I haven't done yet, Jack, but I will do. I've had a bit on today. And one thing as well, Les, don't forget that bit of footage if we get a chance to play it before we end.
Well, we'll do it before we do the next question.
Right, let's just give a little bit of background in case the audio isn't good.
Okay.
I only sent this to Les tonight, a little bit of Ring doorbell footage. It was sent to me, actually. That's what spurred me on, because it was Jack who was I put that question in, who sent it me. Now, an alert came to the phone, to this lady's phone, obviously to say someone's at her door. When she views the footage, before and after, there's nobody at the door. There's nobody there. But there's a strange garbled voice that she hears. Now, me and Les played it earlier and it was awkward, so Les is going to alter his microphone. So if it doesn't play and audio isn't good for you people, we'll try it next week. So have a listen. It's froze there, Les.
Try again.
Subs low. No worries. It played for us earlier. We were listening to it earlier.
Here we go. Yeah, my driver felt his name.
Try again, Les.
Now, tell us in the stream if you could hear that.
Let us know if you could hear it. If you couldn't, apologies, and we'll make sure you can next week. We're not saying it's the smoking gun of strangeness, but knowing the man who sent it me, Jack, I know it's genuine. And the context of the story is, obviously, nobody came to the door. Yet she got the alert to the phone saying somebody had come to the door. Can you get glitches like that occur? I suppose you can. So any views, people, and you can wait till next week to give them as if you want.
Well, yeah, in the stream, they all heard it. And what do you think it's saying, Paul? Are you?
I've no idea. I really don't know. It sounds like a foreign language to me. I see Carl Danzin, O'Connell, South Coast Rich, Awake, Fire Spirit, Mark Anthony, Rod. Right, okay.
On the footage, I can't. There is a time and a date on it, but I can't read it. Oh, can I read it from here? Oh yeah, 2058, 2024 at 1957. So yeah, that's interesting. So it'd be quite dark, wouldn't it, Paul?
Right. Yeah. Well, Jack's put in the comments. Yes, she had the camera for over 8 months, and no one was next door. No one was next door. So, well, it can have been quite dark, Les, because you can see camera.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but 1957 on 25th the 8th. That's right. Yeah. No, it was daylight then. Yeah.
Sorry. Right, go on then. And because people can filter in what they think of that, whether you think good, bad, as long as you're not rude, we'll listen to it. So yeah, go on then. Let's have a question.
Henrietta Carrot, Paul, will there be any more truth proof books?
Definitely, yeah. Do you know? Early in this morning, 5 o'clock. I weren't working on a truth proof book, but just trying to organize information and people that have brilliant people that have sent me loads of information, and some of it, apart from talking to them initially once or twice, I've not had a chance to start writing it up. There's enough information there. I'm hoping I can keep walking around the woodlands and forests and I'll be fit enough to do it for a while, so the books will be slow coming. But I'm on the sub-universe, the submerged universe, the book about the USOs, the underwater UFOs and anomalies that are seen. So I will be working on that one, but I'd love to do one solely devoted on the cryptids. Once a subject I never thought I'd be interested in, but I find it fascinating. So there will be more books. Yes.
Okay.
Michael Walters. Yeah, there you
go. From LD, and funny enough, that's my initials actually. But Les, I know you have keen interest in ghosts. It'd be interesting to know about your most memorable ghost experience. I have really not got a big catalogue of ghost experiences. In fact, the only one I do have, which I thought was kind of otherworldly, was somebody sitting on the end of the bed and the bed going down. But other than that, I've had nothing whatsoever. So whether I'm not very receptive or I just don't tune into this type of thing, I don't know.
It's interesting. And LD, I bet Les, I'm a little joke here, but I bet Les asked himself that question.
I did actually. Thanks for the question, LD. Okay, thanks. Yeah, thank you. Right then, we'll go on to Zeno. Welcome, Zeno, into the stream. It was a guy from the set rigging who had just popped out of hollow maintenance on the well set. What's this?
This is to the Ring doorbell cam. Yeah, could be.
The Ring doorbell, right? Okay.
I would think, unless I've just stepped off planet.
Yeah. Right then. Thanks, Zeno. Paul and Les, what are your thoughts on Carl Crusher's Stalin episode 4, Lights Amongst the Trees? That was damn weird for me when shown the daylight footage too. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I have, and I think I think it's really good, really good. And obviously, I thought Carl were an absolute gentleman, a really good guest. The reason I'm saying this is I think that the lights that we've got, it's not one-upmanship, but I think that the lights, the phenomena that we've managed to obtain over the years is as good, if not better, than anything that the filming at Hestalin. And in fact, I told Carl after the live stream, and I've sent him some footage, short clips of footage to view. And so I was going to actually put some up on stream. So probably next Sunday, we'll fire a few of these bits of footage up. And not just little snippets from what's being filmed. The lights under the sea, strange lights out over the coast, lights on ground, spheres of light. And let you guys be the judge, because it's a lot closer and a lot more up close and personal than that valley in Hestalin.
Okay, I'm not going to read this one out, but thank you, Melvin. Anybody on the stream can read that. We'll have a doing Santa.
There's only Mel could ask that, isn't there?
Yeah, and get away with it. Yeah.
Are you all right, Mel? Good to see you.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go. Mika.
So Jim Ellis says, "What's up, freaks?" Well, we're all right, mate, but we'll just watch your comment carefully in case you've got else to say that's entertaining. Right, go on then.
Paul, Mika, Paul, have you ever considered doing some nighttime research on the Willie Howe Mound?
I would love to. We've been up there in the night, Mika. I probably have to square it with landowner, although there is access to it. So I suppose if you've got access there's public access to the mound now. There's a path going up to it, and I think it's an English Heritage Board. I suppose there wouldn't be anything stopping anybody, although it does say don't climb on the mound, but there's nothing stopping you doing some work on and around it. I know a few years ago, myself and my wife Mary, we took dowsing rods, and that thing were like an hot cross bun. They just turned. No mistake in it, the energy that were there, and that first time that we'd ever used them. So yeah, it'd be great to spend some time there, and it's so close as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, and let's have a look. We've got Steve Davis. Read a book recently by a guy from USA called Terry Lovelace. Yeah, a number of similarities to Dyke, Devil's Den in USA. Also, alien abduction similarities to night people. Have you heard of this guy?
Terry Lovelace. Yeah, I have, but I don't know a lot about him, and something tells me that he's already reached out to me and wanting to come on live stream. I'm pretty sure of it. So that's one, Steve, that I'll have to chase up.
I was just going to say that myself. It'd be somebody to reach out to, Paul. I would have thought, and I have seen him before myself.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on with Denise Fox. Hi, Paul. My husband and myself visited Dyke 3rd of August, was walking along golf course side path, and it was so quiet, no birds or anything. We both said how quiet it was. It was so strange.
Yeah. I don't know what answer could be for that, Denise. I mean, there's not supposed to be anything paranormal or strange to it, but yeah, interesting. When I spoke to Andrew Rawlins and his wife, well, gosh, about 2 months ago. And his wife had that experience where she heard that growl, that noise in the Dyke. And then I don't know, a few days later, I went down really early in the morning. And for some reason, the birds were absolutely going crazy. I put it out in a short. There were people in comments saying that's because you were there, you were disturbing them. That weren't me. You could hear the birds as I was approaching. And so there were a lot of birds making a big fuss. They weren't a bit disturbed because Paul Sinclair were walking along a path. They were in undergrowth. It was something in undergrowth because they were in trees above. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, it is a strange place. But Denise, for most of the time, it's a beauty spot, and you get people going there in summer and having absolutely fabulous walks. But just like tonight. The email I've received, it just shows that this strangeness, even if a big cat is not paranormal, it's highly unusual and it's worth reporting on. And I mean, that could let the woodland go silent if the animals became aware that there's an apex predator around. That I'm not saying that's what were happening either, by the way, but on cliff tops in daytime, I doubt it.
Okay, Rod. Paul and Les, can you come up with a question to ask us, and next week we can give our responses? Actually, Rod, there is a community posting on the YouTube channel that sometimes I do put questions in there to try and elicit responses. So yeah, that would be a good idea, Paul, for us to get a few questions in the course of next week, ready for Sunday, and just to give you a head start on formulated response. Yeah,
that's a great idea. Yeah, and thanks for that, Rod. And like we always say, if you want to come in, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes, if you've got some kind of, I don't know, theory, experience you want to share, something that you've seen, drop us a line, let us know, and or drop it in that chat what Les has just been on about, where we can put questions and we can get in touch with you, and you don't have to come on camera if you don't want to. And I am going to have the Loch Ness guy back on, who had the awful audio a few weeks ago. I would like to speak to him. I really would, because I still think there's a lot of value in what he wants us to share. And the Ron Moorhead one, that's purely my fault. I've just not had time to follow Ron up because he does want to do the interview. I think we'll do a pre-record with him, so I'll have to get in touch with Ron this week and try and get that one off ground.
Okay, this is from Ian Linney. Welcome, Linney.
That's what it looks like as well,
Yeah, well, no, I met him. I agree with you, Paul.
Well, he says I told
you just mentioned people's emotional state. I think this thing, praise OMB, this just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think it preys on emotional states, whatever it is,
all right.
not necessarily everywhere, but we've seriously, there's things that do shine through when you're up there, things that become blatantly obvious. Whether you pay a lot of attention to EMF meters and the K2 meters and things, or not, it doesn't matter. We place them well out of way now, away from any electrical equipment or anything. And you'll just see a light on for a long time, and then you'll say something a bit, I don't know, the humor, whatever it is that this likes, is not nice. Do you see? Obviously, we know that some people have said, do you know, I suddenly got urged, I wanted to jump. And that's not humor. We're not saying it's funny. But the meters go off. You see them bang, bang. They're actually, or somebody will say something, some bit of dark comedy, and the meters go off. It's weird. I know what you're meaning with that, Ian. And plus emotional states. If you go in there and you're feeling a little bit down, there does seem to be some kind of interaction. And you've had a first-hand account of that anyway, so I know why you've asked the question. And I'm not put Ian on spot here now. You don't have to go on camera. Come on one Sunday and tell them what happened. They'd be interested. People would be interested. So there we go.
Okay, yeah, I got one from Doc a Sausage. It looks like. Always makes you laugh. Yeah, it always makes you laugh, that one, Paul. Well, yeah. Guest to get on the show to discuss the implications of near-death experiences would be Dr. Peter Fenwick, who studied them for more than 50 years. He's a lovely man.
Right. Well, that's worth looking into then, Doc Sausage. So we've got Dr. Peter Fenwick. We've got Doc Sausage. Now, I don't know whether you're a real doctor, but if you are, I bet there's some chuckles in your surgery when people are going to see Doc Sausage, but I don't think that's going to be a surname, is it? But what I'm getting at, if you know this man, please see if you can connect us. And if you don't, and you've got an email address for him or any information that might help, we'll have a go at getting him on. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that suggestion, Doc. Mark Anderson. Let's have a look what Mark says. Martin Abbas question, but given cows are motivated to consume specific plants, is any specific flora commonly associated with places where cattle are
killed? Well, I didn't see Martin's question, so it must be you guys talking in chat. But I'm not sure, but you can bet your bottom dollar that people will have done pathology tests on these deceased animals to see what they'd been eating or see what trace elements were in the system. I don't know. What are they looking for when these cattle are being sort of found in strange circumstances? What are these unknown others looking for that are actually doing it? It's the big question, isn't it? I mean, Linda Moulton Howe's been looking into it since 1970s. And I don't think she's ever found an answer. She might think she knows, but I'm pretty sure she's not got a clue, any more clue than us,
Okay, I've got Lee Roscoe question. Do you think that while camping, that lighting a fire activates paranormal in any way? That's a good question.
Well, it'd certainly alert anything. If it were a physical presence that could smell and hear, then it'd alert anything, wouldn't it? The people talking around it, the smell of the smoke and the fire. But would I don't know. It's difficult to say, because if it's non-human, would it even recognize that a fire's burning? I don't know. But why not? You do hear a lot of stories where people are immersing themselves around a campfire, and it's at the point where you're not looking for anything, because let's not forget, most of people that go to these locations, most of people that go camping, most of people that visit the cliff tops or visit woodlands aren't looking for what you guys are looking for. They've not got that in the back of their mind like I might have. And what we got 253 people in chat. I'm not saying you're all doing that. Some of you might be just sitting on here thinking, listen to this guy rant on. But there you go. But what I'm saying is the paranormal the unknown other does seem to like interacting with us when we least expect it. So maybe in those kind of environments, that's when it's happening. Yeah.
Okay. And thanks to Jojo for the monetary donation tonight. Thank you very much. Always appreciated. And Melvin Suta. Melvin asks, Paul, they say that UFOs are seen more when there are wars going on in the world. What's your view on this?
I think so. Yeah. You know, we'll jump to the I can't remember what we titled it, but there's a short on about UFOs seen during times of conflict. Was it not the art of war? I don't know what we call it, but and if you look back through time, through history, there's definitely reports of unexplained phenomena occurring over battlefields, and I should have brought a drink just before a battle, or and in some instances settling wars. And that's a frightening concept, isn't it? Because I sort of posed the question, what if they're settling wars and settling conflicts in favor of another side? What if they're just steering us all the way through this path throughout history? And with conflicting world at the moment, I mean, I'm not saying it would be good to see some nations settled. It might be us for all we know. But would it not be amazing if some other intelligence revealed itself? Or I brought a drink in with me. Oh, God.
All right. Are you okay? Do you want a sip of that?
No, thanks, Les.
Right. Okay. Right. I've put the link to the Theatre of War, the short that we did. And I'll put that link into the chat stream if anybody wants to watch that after the stream tonight. That'd be. See what
can you, Les? Can you manage for a minute? I need to go get a drink.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just put yourself on there, and
we'll be on. So, yeah, that's a good question. That Mel, UFOs seen what? Well, yeah, definitely seen in World War II, weren't they? In the air, around the planes and what have you. So, are they on the increase now? Well, my take on this is that if you go on internet now, whether when you use social media, you'll get a lot of people posting. Have you seen this UFO circling in red? And put all this out, and we know nowadays that quite a lot of that is just fakery. So I think you've got a mishmash of reports coming in here. How do you weave out what's genuine and what's not genuine in all this internet postings? I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Okay, so let's have a look then. So we've got, I'm just going back to, we have a prize draw, folks, tonight. And the prize draw, we'll be doing it very, very shortly because I'm looking at the time. We're only on for an hour tonight. And when I look into the draw, I think there was 47, the last count, what's going to be in the draw. So we'll do that in a couple of minutes. I'll see if I can find some more questions through, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, it's all good.
Let's have a look then. Mark Anderson, Paul, can I recommend Shielalian in Scotland? Numerous fairy sightings and rather close to Calvan.
Somewhere else to look at, Mark, if we did do some kind of tour of these locations, because I know Les has been thinking of heading to Loch Ness, haven't you?
Yes, we'll be doing something with the Loch Ness man up there. I can guarantee that. At some point.
And we're definitely off to Ben MacDo. So I'm not sure if you're coming on that one, Les, are you? Because it's a bit of an hike, and
well, that's plenty of water. That's all I can say. Paul, on that one. All right, then we'll go to Rod. Paul, have local farmers commented on the animal deaths?
Well, the farmer that I was involved with, 2017 to 2019, when he was losing all that livestock, he'd not got a clue what were happening. The turning point for that guy was when he came to his, as I've told many people before, his sheep run that were designed to nose to tail, 6 to 7 sheep in this corrugated run where they ran through with the liquid in bottom to treat the feet. And the turning point that made him realise something really unusual going off was when he came to it, I think on August 28th, 2017, and there were 30 sheep packed in it, and they'd gone in overnight. He said, and I had 2 dogs, he says, and we had hell of a job getting them into that sheep run, because they knew that well, either they could smell it or whatever, but it was painful when they ran through it, this substance to treat the feet. He says, so how 30 sheep managed to get in there overnight. And then, like, you know, everybody's, I know that's not the question. Have the local farmers commented? No, they're all a bit close-knit. I reached out to that guy to try and help him discover what was doing it, thinking we're looking for humans. We're looking for people that are doing this. But after what I were finding, and we'll not go into graphic details, but no eyes, no ears, and the way they were being removed and nothing being eaten on animal and none of the prime meat being taken. And it went on from 17 to early 19. And I were on the fields at 4:30 in the morning to discount what people were saying. Something else were involved, I'm sure of it.
And one of the areas that you went frequently, where a lot of this, a lot of these things happened, he's got CCTV cameras around the house, hasn't he?
There's CCTV cameras, yeah, but you know, when you're going on there with a thermal camera at 4:30 in the morning, and you're finding these animals, and people are still saying, oh, it's an animal, it's a fox or a badger, and you're looking at a 70 to 80 kilo ewe that's deceased, and it's lambs alive stood at side of it. Nobody's going to tell me that that's the work of a fox or a badger, because you want whatever's going to give you the least resistance. And I know what's going to kick up a little bit more of a fight than a lamb would be you know. But anyway, I know that weren't your question. Everybody's a bit close-knit. It's a bit like mining communities. It's a bit like fishing communities. They keep it tight until you get to know them, and I want to share this stuff, a lot of them.
Right then, we're just going to push for 52 entries into the tonight's draw. We're just going to put this on the screen. It's only one prize tonight, guys, and that's for us reaching over the 12,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Here we go. We're running.
I hope Les don't win it. He's asked his own question tonight, hasn't he? Hey, Mel Suter. Nice one, Mel.
Go. Congratulations, Melvin Sousa. You've got something there, Melvin.
Give us a shout, Mel. You know, book or DVD, and we can sort that for you, mate. Right, let's.
Yeah, and unlucky everybody else, really.
Yeah, but it's good.
Okay, we'll get that off the screen, and John Paul Body, Isles, Paul, the Big Cat report sounds interesting. I'm definitely going to have a look when I visit Dyke at some point, and soon within the next week, I reckon.
Yeah, that's good, John. Well, give us a shout, and I'll meet up, and we can have a natter, and yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, Richard Mason. Hi, Paul. Loved your live streams with Steve Stockton, and the most recent one, Carl Crusher. Brilliant. Have you considered having Timothy Good on your live stream? Great ufologist.
I haven't, if I'm being truthful, for no other reason than it's just not. Is he still as active?
I think he's very ill. I think he's not in. You know,
best of health.
Yeah.
Once again,
he's gone off the scene now over the last few years. So I suspect his age is against him, Paul.
Yeah, and I see Gaz Grazing. It's good to see you, Gaz. Yeah. And he's put a question up, but I don't know whether we'll get to it. I've missed. It's gone over at top now, but it don't matter. Go on, Les.
Baz Outdoors, Paul. Have you walked the entire length of Dyke? I have, and the Bempton end has a very eerie feeling.
Oh, many times, Baz. Many times, mate. Many times. And at 4 in the morning, that were part of my little journey when I was looking into these these sheep fatalities. Or to get on those fields early in the morning, and then get on the dyke, and then drop through the woods, and then get back and do the grid of the field again. So yeah, many times. And you're right. We're short on time, but the time that I had that terrifying feeling was at the north side of Dyke, and don't know where it came from, but it did drop on me. I didn't like it.
Okay, he's Paul. Your thoughts changed on the weir frog croak. and hearing your name related, same or different. And for those who don't know, come onto the stream and don't know about this story, can you just give us a little recap of what happened?
There were some strange sounds on cliff tops a few months ago. Martin were with us. Martin Abbas was in chat now. I think Linny were there. Yeah, were. Jeremy were there. Number of people. Martin heard it first. He said, "Listen to this." So we stopped. There's a noise. It sounded like a frog or a toad croaking at first. Then it changed, and it were under his feet. So it's over the cliff when Martin heard it, at the back of him. Then it moved about 20 foot to under my feet and whoever was stood with me, and we're right under our feet. And Linny kind of summed it up. You know, when you're doing the curling with the stones on the ice and the granite blocks it together, sounded like that. And then it were over the cliffs again. Then it was up in the field. So, I don't know. It was just a bit of tongue-in-cheek when we talked about the werefrog. We've created a new cryptid. But what's interesting is Chris Meek went to Scotland. Ben McDougall did a bit of a recce for us, and he had a noise that came to him, and he said it sounded very similar, and he managed to just record a little bit of it. And he's since heard the same noise in his hallway at home. Thanks, Alison, for doing moderating for us. Appreciated.
Okay, we'll get another question on there. Let's have a look. UFO no time, Paul. I was on holiday at Thornwick Bay last week and did go to Dyke a few times, AM and PM. I went quite deep into the undergrowth looking for prints, but sadly, nothing to report.
Yeah. I don't mean I've tried it as well, but I really have. And I walked through the Dyke earlier in the week when we'd had a lot of rain, and it had settled down a bit because it throws a bit of silt up, hoping I might find prints, but I found nothing. And just make you wonder, doesn't it?
Yep. And let's have a look. South Coast Rich, do you notice a spike in weird experiences at Halloween time? Does a veil become thinner then?
Possibly, or are we more not susceptible? Sound like Arkwright then off program. What do they call that program? But I don't think we become more susceptible. Open all hours. Yeah, I don't think we become more susceptible, but maybe we're just more open because we think that during this time period, weird things are going to happen. Maybe, I don't know, but it's a good question, and in which case it tells you that if that's if that's why it's happening, it tells you the power of the human mind, and we've got the potential to tap into this unknown other.
I mean, isn't this the time when? Isn't this the time when kids start dabbling in Ouija boards and this type of thing? And
yeah, once again, that's the tool. It's not. It's only a board. Surely the board doesn't have any magical properties. It's the direction of human thought and energy that goes into that board that opens things up for people. So there you go. I'm going to go up these questions. I just want to see, because I've not seen Gaz in, and can you see this Gaz Gray question? It weren't a question.
I never saw it. No, I didn't see nothing.
Let's have off. Paul, have you any plans to do any more talks relating to night people? Missed the conference. No, I haven't, Gaz, but if I can find a recording of the talk, I'll see if I can get it to you. That's the best I could do. No talks to do night people at the moment, mate.
Okay, Dragonborn Paul, let's celebrate Halloween. Well, 31st Halloween is actually on our stream night, Paul. We haven't got any guests allocated for that night. So at this moment in time, we've been that busy between ourselves, and Paul will testify to this. We haven't really given it a thought up till now.
No, I don't know whether. Do you want us to dress up?
We could get the garb on.
I don't think I will.
Folks, no. You don't want us to do a 24-hour stream, do you? No, I didn't think that. No, we're not going to do that. But no, we ain't got any plans as yet, to answer your question.
Like Adam Sandor says, the power of the mind is endless. It doesn't bear thinking about. You're spot on, Adam.
That's right, yeah.
Truthful Paul, no beer. No beer, mate. No beer yesterday, no beer Friday. I just want to have I fancy a beer now, but I won't be having one. I'll probably have a beer next Thursday.
And I did have Gaz Gray's question. That was the next one, actually.
No worries.
Yeah, but done. So I'll have to go back to live chat, see if there's any new ones come in. But we are on the YA. If we can get one more in, if I can see one.
Okay.
So look, another. Oh well, we'll just get that one in. Jump all buddy. Thanks, Paul, and there's another great Sunday stream. Night,
everyone. It's not really a question, is it? And
no.
Jim Cross says, "What's your favourite Halloween film?" I ain't got one, Jim. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of TV. Have you got one, Les? Quickly.
Yeah, no. Just Poltergeist is kind of horror-like, but not really Halloween, is it? Poltergeist.
No.
Right.
Okay, then, guys. Remember,
that's it. We're out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're out of time now, and we shall catch you next Thursday. I'm not going to say who's guest is because I can't remember, even if we've got anybody. But don't worry, we will be here, and we'll do more of this if we've not got a guest lined up.
Gary Clark saying a 5-hour stream, lads. 5-hour stream and a couple of guests on.
Yep, well, we can try it. I mean, what's his name? What do they call him? The guy Alienate. He's doing a 24-hour stream anyway, and he asked me if I'd do it. I said I'd do 6 a.m. in the morning. Andy Decodes.
Right.
So
all right. Joe will get the last one in. I'm finding a lot of big cat prints over here, Paul and Les. Can't remember if I've sent you the pictures and videos.
You did send me some pictures, Joel, and I had a look at them. I'm not saying they're not cat prints, but I could see claws in them, and I thought, well, the cats a lot of the time are going to retract the claws. But good to hear from you, mate.
On that note, we've got to leave here, Paul, and thanks everybody for coming on to the stream tonight.
Yep.
And we'll see you all with a good following wind on Thursday. We ain't got a guest lined up as yet, but no doubt we'll have somebody.
Well, I think we will, yeah.
Yeah, and if we haven't, you've just got us two again.
Well, not just that. If you want to come in and contribute,
if you want to do that, we can always alter our format around a little bit, can't we, Paul?
Yeah. Okay, then, guys. Thank you.